was in the worst situation of my life. I actually tried to take my own life. I don't know if you know that. For someone to help me change that, I couldn't thank you enough, bro, for helping me change the way that I wake up in the morning. Like being depressed, not wanting to be here, wanting to take my own life, to being happy in life. For the first time ever.
Although you did 3 to 5x in a month.
The money's great, but it's the way you make the money.
I feel like there's a lot of people, especially in my industry, that speak in mystical ways, or they make things seem a bit more complicated, whereas these guys have realised that it can actually be very practical and you can just apply it to your life straight away. Welcome back to the More Life podcast, and this one's a bit different. Today we're in Marbella. I'm with Leo.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, bro.
And today the podcast, again, it's good for us to get some social proof, some clips of Leo. He's had some crazy results. But ultimately, I genuinely want to do this podcast with Leo to really break down the shifts that he's had and make it really, really practical for anyone watching, because the work that I do with hypnosis, the mindset stuff, I feel like there's a lot of people, especially in my industry, that speak in mystical ways, or they make things seem a bit more complicated, whereas these guys have realised that it can actually be very practical and you can understand this on a level to where you can just apply it to your life straight away. And that's essentially what I've done with Leo. So I don't know if we're going to go into, to start with, Leo's life story. Again, do people care about what happened when you were 6? Maybe not, right?
Yeah.
But I'd love for you to just start with kind of where you were at when we met, bro. And we can just start speaking about the journey that you've had.
Yeah.
And in between you telling the journey, we'll likely go into different points about state, about hypnosis, about different things.
Yeah, amazing. So obviously when we met, bro, it was at Mahiza's event, and right then the business, to give a bit of context, I've been in the space now for like 3-4 years, so it's not like a thing that I started like 2 months ago, and I'd never really tapped into my mind. I think that's important context to give, right? And I met you in November, end of November. It was November the 30th.
Start of December.
Yeah, straight like November the 30th. I remember it so clearly. And obviously, like, you come to Mastermind, I was like, yeah, I messed with you and Jack, your brother. And after that, like, in the Jan, it was sort of like the December went past, I chilled with family, and then I sort of sat down to myself in Jan, was like, okay, maybe like the business isn't doing the numbers I want it to do because of the mind. Like, I've never really tapped into the mind. I've, tapped into marketing, I've tapped into sales, but I've never tapped into me. And then that's when I texted you. I was like, hey, bro, I don't want to buy anything yet, but I want to jump on a call with you. And then obviously we got on a call, and it weren't a sales call, right? It just made fucking sense.
Yeah, it literally wasn't. The reason I've got on my phone right now, bro, is to genuinely just get the first message, right? Because what I'd done after the mastermind, and I think the mastermind was, end of November, start of December. I think it might have been like 5th or 6th of December, something like that. I just want to kind of go back to this first message because it's quite interesting where you were actually at. Yeah. Because I mean, you couldn't even believe how different you were as quickly as you were. Right?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
So what did I say? I sent so it's like a voice note that he sent. So I can't really, I could show it, but it's like a 1.5 minute long voice note. But essentially, I just reached out to everyone that was at the mastermind, all the guys, obviously doing my outreach, right? But then when I messaged Leo, he said I actually can't really stop thinking negatively. I'm always focused on the fact that things aren't going to work. I've always kind of got this baseline level of anxiety that doesn't really go away. And again, speak from having that, right now, if you can kind of recall that a little bit.
Yeah, like, I just remember every single day feeling like, I'd have to describe it, it's like this nervousness in your chest, like this anxiety in your chest, right? And it would never go away. Like, I couldn't be present. Like, bro, a huge thing was I was living inside my mind, like, every single day. And hand on heart, the truth is I was genuinely living like this every single minute of every single day, right? The business was doing okay numbers. It was doing like 7-8K a month. But like, I've been in the game so long, I just couldn't understand why with the business, I was not doing more numbers. And it was because every single day I'd wake up and go, why are things not going to work? Every single day, right? And then now I realise that affected my state, so how I felt. My thoughts affected how I felt, and how I felt affected the action I took. Meaning I did not want to take action. And then that's when I remember saying to you, it's like the victim mentality, right? I just feel like I've got this victim mentality where like nothing goes in my favour. And to be honest, like, it was like that for like since I got into business, really. like, which is interesting.
Well, one thing that you said to me, and again, Leo's going to be open as fuck, transparent, because he's a new version of him. He's so detached from the version of him that he used to be that he's like because when we first got together, like maybe a month into working together, I said to you, bro, we need to get this on a podcast. And you're like, don't really know if I want to be open about how fucked my headspace actually was.
Yeah.
But to just kind of give context as well from like where you were at for like a while. Because one thing you said to me, bro, that actually like I don't think I told you that this actually made me feel amazing. You're like, bro, when my mum sees you, like at some point, she wants to give you a hug. Because it's almost like, but tell the audience why though. I think that's amazing.
For context, it's something I'm very open about now, and it's something that I want to help the world with, like as a bigger plan. But I basically suffered with really bad depression, and when I say like really bad depression, it wasn't a case of like getting up in the morning and feeling a bit like groggy and down. Like it was genuinely like bad thoughts in my head, and it's something like I'm open and willing to talk about now because I've made this shift, right? And when I say like it went on for a while, I'm talking I suffered with this probably since I was like 13, 14, and I'm about to turn 21, right? So 6 years, every single day of my life, and I genuinely did not enjoy one moment 100%. Like I didn't 100% enjoy it. Like not one moment in them 6 years I did not enjoy. Like I'd enjoy it, and then straight after I'd go back. Like my like ground level was me like feeling really depressed all the time, and that had an effect on like my self-image, the gym. Like I didn't want to go to the gym. Like gym's something I've tapped back into since we started working together. But like every single day I'd wake up, I just didn't want to be here, basically. And it's weird to say that looking back, but there'll be so many people that's going through that now that needs to hear that there is something on the other end of feeling like that. But yeah, tapping into like obviously what we did. I came to in a really bad state, and the thing was I didn't want to say I was in like that bad of a state. I think I always like covered it up with things are like all right, bro. Like I could be better. I'm thinking a bit negatively, but deep down, bro, like I did not want to see another day in the world. Yeah,
and I'll be fully transparent. Leo didn't even tell me he was in this much of a negative headspace where he was kind of thinking about not being here and being really depressed and stuff. He didn't even really tell me that. And then a month later, he said, "Kale, do you know when I came to you, I was like this?" And within a week, I literally wasn't like that. And I haven't been like that since. It's like you cured my depression, right? That's what he said. And I'm not going to take...
No, they're the words quoted. You did. You cured depression.
Bro, and I love that so much. And I mean, I'll take credit for it. But Leo done the work essentially. But the cool thing is, again, like we spoke about at the very start, a lot of people in my industry, when it comes to like mindset hypnosis, they try to make things sound super complicated. But there's actually like, I wouldn't say one single thing, but there was a very powerful thing that Leo couldn't do before and then was able to do, and the only difference was awareness. The only thing that gave him more control, like the main thing, was awareness, right? And from your perspective, before I say, because I think I know kind of what your main thing was, but from your perspective, what allowed you to go from unconsciously in a bad state, can't really get out of it, to now having self-agency, being able to consciously dictate what state you're in?
The attention of where I'm focusing my thoughts.
So the ability to direct your attention.
Yeah.
That's fucking...
Because, like, the thing is, bad thoughts can still come up now, right? Like, everyone has them. But, one, they're, like, a lot more rare because I'm, like, constantly in this good state. And two, when they come up, right, I know how to deal with them, you know? Like, I understand that I am not my thoughts. And these are just... It's like a traffic jam, right? Like, cars are just flowing through these lights, green, red, they're stopping, and like I'm like the traffic warden, like flowing them through or stopping them and sending them off to a checkpoint, for example, right? And what I was doing before was every single day, bro, I was like stopping every bad thought and just letting it in. But now I realize, like, you know, there's no proof behind these bad thoughts, and like as you say, it's just my ego pulling me back because it doesn't want me to become a new version of myself. So the main thing we did, bro, like the attention on knowing how to direct thoughts and knowing how to make myself feel better from the way I think.
Bro, again, this is what I'm saying. Like in psychology, they call that metacognition. It's the ability to think about what you're thinking about. And I teach it from the word I use, the observer, like to become the observer of your thoughts. And ultimately, that is like, I noticed this. I've got an app with modules on it that clients work through. And the first lesson on the app is you are the observer, right? Because most people, they don't actually they're not able to really exist in the awareness of like observing the thoughts, of noticing the thoughts that are coming in. They think, they feel, they act, and there's no gap in between thinking and feeling. It's just complete emotion from that initial thought that comes in. And when you start to understand, like Leo does now, that emotion, every bit of emotion that you feel is created by your perception. But if you can like become present and understand your perception, why you perceive things in that way, and almost instead of thinking and feeling like that reaction, you can create a moment of presence in between the thought and the reaction, and that moment of presence allows you to align with the vision or choose who to be. Essentially where Leo can exist now is in this observer seat, where he can notice a thought, is that the truth, is it not? And he can actually start to, in real time, understand why those thoughts exist, because your perception is created, for the most part, based on the beliefs that you hold inside your mind. You'll observe reality. In fact, your brain is a prediction machine, so you'll predict reality based on your past experiences, based on your beliefs, and you'll observe your prediction. Most people don't observe the prediction. Most people don't actually have the ability to be the observer, but as soon as Leo got given the ability to do that, the control was given to him. The awareness gave him control. And again, it's a very simple thing that changed inside Leo, but it was super powerful. And again, we're going to go into a little bit more detail around the different ways that your brain maybe like filters reality, how your beliefs can shape reality and shape your perception. I do want to go a bit deeper into that, but that simple, you're not your thoughts, you're the awareness of them. I mean, that's what gave you ultimately one of the biggest shifts.
Yeah. Because every day when I was like in a really bad way, I was really depressed, all I used to think was like, I actually found, what I notice now, I used to find more reasons to be depressed. So, for example, say like there was a very, minuscule bad thing that happened, but it was like not that important, right? Mm-hmm. From that one bad thing, I'd find another 50. And then that would give me more reasons to like be depressed.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like now it's the complete opposite. Like, hand on heart, I can say it's the complete opposite. Of course, as I said, there's still bad thoughts, right, that come in, because that's the way the world works. Yeah, bad things still happen, but are they bad things though? Like, it's your perception, as you said, right? You
get to choose if it's bad or good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Everything in life inherently doesn't have any meaning. It's completely neutral until you tie a meaning to it. And ultimately, not being your thoughts and not being attached to them the way Leo is now, he can then now choose what meaning he gives to things.
Yeah.
Because this is what people, like, they get fucked by, right? Is like, the business is making me stressed, or this person is making me annoyed. It's not the case. The business, well, whatever's happening in the business, you're tying a meaning to that makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always the meaning you give it. It's never the thing itself, right?
Yeah, never the thing yourself.
It's not.
Because I remember always, bro, meeting like these, that they might not have been, like insane entrepreneurs. Some were, and then some were just like, normal people. But like, I've met really calm people. Like, really bad things would happen. And like, these people would stay really calm, and they'd be like the level head in the situation of like, I remember like working for a really big company when I first got into the space. And like the whole team was so calm. Like, I was like, what? Like, bad things would happen and everyone would just like stay so calm, and it makes you realize it's the meaning you give it. For example, not too long ago, my Instagram got restricted, right? Before, I would have had a meltdown, bro. I would have been like, oh my God, I'm failing. Everything's not going to work out. I'm going to go broke. Like, it's awful. Yep. And I was like, okay. Like the Instagram's restricted. Like, let's fix it.
Yep. 100%. I mean, like, when you first said it to me, your brain, I noticed when we had that conversation, when we went for a coffee and had the kind of in-person chat, your brain did go into problem-seeking mode, and it was like, fuck, like, this restricted, I can't do this, I can't do that. We generally had one conversation within like 5 to 10 minutes. Your focus was completely directed in the right way. Yeah. Because, again, you have the ability to do that all the time. It just doesn't feel like you're in control. And I want to go back quickly to the point that you made, because as you're talking, I'm getting like fucking points that come to my head. So the point that you made about like when you were depressed, it's almost like you found more ways to be depressed.
Yeah, like majorly.
Or when people have problems, they find more reasons to like feel bad about what's going on, the problem, whatever happens, right?
Yeah.
There's a concept where it speaks about your brain as a receiver, right? And this is what I teach. So when you're in a specific state, so imagine you're in this negative state because some problem happens in a business. Well, your brain's a receiver, and I just want to make clear on exactly where you receive the thoughts from. So we have this physical reality, this 3D world that we live in, right? But our eyes can only see 0.0035% of the electromagnetic wave, right? So ultimately, when we're seeing reality, it's a very small part of what actually exists. We have this other 99% that a really famous kind of speaker and teacher called Neville Goddard speaks about, the fourth dimension, and this is this field of imagination, this field of information, right? When we're in a specific state, if we're in this negative state, this problem-seeking state where something bad's happened, what your brain's going to do, and you'll notice this, and Leo just spoke about this, your brain's going to receive information that aligns with the state that you're in. And this is going to lead us into speaking about state. So if you're in a negative state, I feel bad, this isn't good, you're just going to find all sorts of reasons as to why you should stay in that state, as to why things aren't going to work. And it's because your brain is receiving information that aligns with the state that you're in. So ultimately, if you're not controlling your state, if your state is always off, negative, in the wrong place, your brain, you won't have a choice. We're not the creator of thoughts. Thoughts just appear. If you actually, if you take a moment to step back and notice how thoughts come into your mind, you don't create them. No. They just appear. Yeah. And they appear based on the state that you're in. You're going to get thoughts and receive information based on what you're aligning with in the field, in this fourth dimension. So let's think about Leo when he was depressed, right? What's that aligning with in the field? What's aligning with information of being depressed, of why things aren't going to work, of why there's problems, or why nothing's going to work out. And that's all Leo's brain was able to receive.
I was attracting more bad things happening to me.
In your life?
Yeah, because the wavelength, the state, it wasn't aligned with the person I wanted to become. It was aligned with the version of me that didn't want to be.
Again, you're going to get me fucking started, right? So there's different ways to look at this, and this is what I teach my clients, is I kind of look at it through the metaphysical, esoteric lens, and I look through the kind of human behavior and neuroscience lens. If you look at it through the kind of human behavior and neuroscience lens, right? If you're in the wrong state, essentially means you don't feel good. You're in the wrong emotional state, and that emotional state is created by your perception, how you see things. That perception is created by the beliefs that you hold inside your mind. How your brain filters reality through your beliefs is it generalizes, it deletes, and it distorts. So if you have a belief, what's a belief that you had when you were depressed, and we'll just run it quickly to show what happened. And then you can let me know if it actually makes sense.
Nothing's going to work out. I'm not going to be successful.
That's fucking perfect, right? So I'm not going to be successful, right? So what Leo's brain was doing, and just verify this, call me out if this isn't true, right? Yep. Your brain was generalizing your reality. So it was, every single way that I look at to move forward doesn't work. Every single part of my life backs up the fact that I can't move forward, right? So you generalize. So across your whole life, that belief created a perception that you couldn't succeed, right? Yep. Then it deleted, right? So then every opportunity where you could move forward and you could do well, and every thing that you've done before that was good, your brain deleted that. Yep. So when you're in that state, were you thinking about anything positive, or
Nah, that's negative.
All the positive shit was just deleted from your life. It's almost like your whole perception was created, and it's because of the way your brain filters reality based on your beliefs. Right. And then it distorts reality, right? So then you start to use evidence this is why I can't do it. This is a piece of evidence, and it's like you were distorting your reality. You were filtering out everything that could be used to back up the fact you could win. Yeah. And you were distorting reality to support the fact you couldn't.
It's like building a puzzle with but all the pieces are negative to make one big negative piece.
And that's what that's what your reality was, right? Yeah. So you notice how your brain, based on the belief that you had, was generalizing, deleting, distorting your reality. Yeah. That created your perception. That perception made you feel bad. Those emotions that you're in, the state you're in, drove the behavior, and it aligned with that state, and that behavior that aligned with the negative state obviously created a negative outcome, because that behavior would have been avoidance, procrastination, bad habits, overeating, whatever it was, right? So that's the kind of neuroscience lens to look through, right? Then you can obviously think about the law of attraction, law of vibration. The law of attraction is a secondary law to the primary law, the law of vibration, right? Law of vibration states that everything vibrates, even this hard physical table, us, everything vibrates, right? And it's been shown by science that if you zoom in close enough, it's just energy, even a solid object, it's like energy bouncing about in empty space, right? There's atoms, there's molecules, there's little different parts of the atoms that go into specific little tiny bits of energy, and it's just bouncing about in empty space. So everything vibrates, says the law of vibration. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. So with that, your state, your frequency That's your vibration, right? So the emotional state you operate in is going to attract into your life, based on this metaphysical law, anything that resonates with that state. So again, was there an experience that kept coming in? Like, was your experience shaped by the negative state? Like, were you experiencing in life things that just backed up that state even more?
Yeah.
Problems.
Yeah, it's more
roadblocks, reasons why you couldn't, negative people treating you like shit.
Yeah.
So many things, right? So that's you attracting into your life, right?
Yeah.
Then there's another kind of lens to look through that's still like esoteric. I don't know if you've read Reality Transurfing.
No.
Reality Transurfing, read that book. The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, read those 2 books. The Kabbalion, read that if your heart tells you to read it. It's quite a hard read. But the Reality Transurfing speaks about the fact that there's this alternatives model where there's an infinite amount of lifelines that you can experience, right? And you will tap into and align with whatever lifeline your energy resonates with. So your thought energy, the frequency again that you're vibrating on, you will like shift. Think about it like train tracks. You'll shift into a lifeline.
So it's like when there's like how there's like a lifeline of me being a billionaire. There's a lifeline of me being homeless. There's a lifeline of me being a multimillionaire. Like there's so many different lifelines of me. And
whatever your thought, your emotions, whatever your frequency and vibration aligns with,
that's what the track will be.
That's the track you're locking into. It's a lifeline you're aligning with, right? Yeah. So whatever your energy, vibration, whatever your thought energy, generally, if you're to put it into practical terms as well, whatever you're thinking about most of the time, whatever, and it speaks about your goal slide. So whatever you're visualizing most of the time, if you're visualizing success, everything working out, that's going to put you into the lifeline, aligning the lifeline with that goal, right? With whatever resonates.
Yeah.
And then you go into this lifeline through the Reality Transurfing lens, and you'll start to, again, meet the right people, find yourself in the right places, the right opportunities come up, you make the right money, the results will come in that align with that initial state that you're in. So whatever lens you look through, and I could keep going, there's so many other lenses that you can look through, right? But whatever lens you look through, your state will dictate your reality, right? Whether it's driving your behavior, whether it's shifting you energetically into a lifeline, whether it's operating the law of attraction to bring things into your life that resonate with that state, whatever lens you look through, your state dictates everything. And the biggest shift that Leo had, which is a very simple one, the ability to think about his thoughts, allows him, for the most part, to completely control his state. This subjective control he now has in his mind. A negative thought comes in, I actually say to my clients, like, if a negative thought comes in, which they do, they always do, they're always going to come in, because you're not the thinker. You're not the thinker of thoughts. Thoughts just appear, right? You don't really have much control other than the ability to observe, right? So that thought comes in, I generally go, I'm actually unlimited.
Yeah.
I actually laugh at it.
Because the way I see it now is your thoughts dictate how you feel, which is your state. Your state dictates your actions. And so it's state number one. All the time. So
that's like the neuroscience, like practical lens. This is why I give you that lens, because you're like, think, feel, act. So easy.
Yeah.
But if everyone wants to get mystical, we can speak about the fucking esoteric metaphysical lens. We can go into that if you want, but it's like, I just like, what's one thing that you said to me that's because you've invested in like other mindset. Oh no, actually you haven't, but you've like seen content from other mindset people, done a couple modules, whatever.
Too confusing. Like everything was way too overcomplicated. Like, bro, when I was like in that awful way, like I just wanted, like, I was like, are you telling me like, you know, I'm going to have to do all this complicated shit just to fix the way I feel and think? And I think a lot of people feel like that now when they're in like a bad state, right? They're like, it's so complicated. There wasn't a simple formula to fix the way I feel and fix the way I act and think, right? So it was just too complicated compared to what you do, in my opinion.
So other people are just kind of explaining ways or teaching ways that just don't seem practical.
Yeah, not practical, no actionable steps. It just feels like you're getting information, and no actual implementation.
Which is, again, something that I said on my client call, it was last Monday.
Yeah.
And it was that knowledge isn't power. Implementation is power.
Implementation is power, yeah.
So that if you know all this stuff but you don't implement it, it's like there's nothing actually changing. There's nothing that's actually
true in like
going to
every
come.
single area as well, right?
Every single thing in your life. So knowledge isn't power, implementation is, and this is why all this kind of mindset stuff, right? Do I know everything there is to know? No, I'm learning every day. I study for hours a day. I read books, I soak in courses, learn from the best in the world. But ultimately, if I am teaching my clients about mindset, about like esoteric wisdom, metaphysical laws, it needs to be practical. It needs to be as logical and practical as possible. And this is why the book, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, it puts really deep spiritual work and spiritual teachings into such a logical way of understanding. And again, I personally feel it's the only real way to teach my clients this stuff, because I don't gain anything from being mystical and being this guy that are people like, oh, is he a god? Is he like, how does he do that? How do you understand this stuff? Like, I want you guys to be able to apply it. And this is what I said, one of the things I said at the start was, you have self-agency now. So like, if you don't have me, you can still observe your thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't need me to...
That's the powerful thing, right? It's not like I have to rely on you. Like, if we never spoke again, which obviously we wouldn't, I'd be fine. I'd be completely fine. And this is what I mean. Like, and that's why I said about my mum, right? Because every single day my family would see me in like an awful state. I wouldn't really show it too much. But like, when I said to my mum, like the depression just disappeared, she was like, what? What do you, like, you're on drugs? Like, what you're on about the depression just disappeared? Like, because I think a lot of people think that like being in a state like that, it just doesn't just like shift, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we started doing the work, the week after, I was like, hang on a second, it's fine. And then I went for a stage, like, which I'll openly admit, where I then didn't practice. Like, here's the thing, right? You have to maintain your mind, like putting fuel in a car. Mm-hmm. For the car to perform at its highest level, you have to maintain it, right? And I went through a phase, right, where I noticed, but I was still aware that this was happening, right? That was the powerful thing. Mm-hmm. Before I didn't know what was happening. I went into a bad state again, right, for like 3-4 days, 5 days, right? Maybe a bit longer, like a week. And it's because I wasn't maintaining the mind. I wasn't journaling. I wasn't listening to the state anchor track. I wasn't practically doing the things. And that's what I realized, like, okay, for me to maintain this, a really, really good state, that is what I have to do on a daily basis now, to always feel good. And then that's when you meet them people and you're like, how does he always feel good? Yep. But then I realized, like, say we never spoke again, as I said, I'd be fine as long as I was doing them things, right? Because 100%. It's the simplest shift. It's not like it needs updating as well. Like, it does, but like the principle of think, feel, action, like that it's always been a thing, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, and in my opinion, it'll always stay the same. So it's like, as long as I do those things, like, that's what I mean. Like, you can have one session with you and it changes your entire life. Like, how did I go from like that to that in like a week? It's like insane.
Awareness is that's what I'm saying. It can your shift can happen instantly, right? And that think, feel, act, that's like a CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy kind of triangle.
See, that's weird, because when I went to therapists, right, the thing you just mentioned, cognitive behavioral therapy, that is what they spoke about all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone kept telling me, like, my mum did a lot of research on it, because obviously as a mother, you're concerned about your son, like, not being in a good way, right? And she said, my mum used to always say about cognitive behavioral therapy, and when I heard that, I was like, yeah, it's got to be rubbish. But now, like, so that's what that is.
Yeah, CBT. So like, that's like the cool thing about what I do, right? I'll openly admit, have I been to university to do psychology? Like, no. But like, have I worked with people and helped them with their mindset for the last like 4 years straight, and like every single day being conscious?
In my opinion, that's more powerful than a uni degree.
Well, I've been practicing every day. It's like, in the last like 4 months, I've done well over 100 hypnosis sessions, and every single session that I've done, I've reviewed the transcript. I'm honestly operating on our fucking level in terms of progressing as a hypnotist, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to be the best in the world. Like, I generally am, and it's like the process I'm taking to get there. Experience. This is a really cool thing to even notice and like, can I reinforce? I went to, if no one knows who Marcel Klein is, right? I love Marcel. He's such a fucking legend. And he's Jake Paul's hypnotist, but he's like one of the best hypnotists in the world. He's seriously fucking skilled at what he does. And in January, me and my twin brother Jack, we went to a seminar in LA. And one of the things that we done, like, it was a 3-day seminar, but he was doing a hypnosis, like group hypnosis, like each day. And one of the hypnosis that I done was letting go of any external validation, right? Which is such a powerful thing. And this is like another thing that I notice with guys like you, guys that are successful, is they have this feeling of maybe not being worthy or not being worth enough, and like they're making 50k a month and you feel like, fuck, why am I here, why am I making this, right? Yeah. And then they go back down to 20, or they're making 100 and they go back down to 60, and they keep going back down to this baseline, right? We can go into why that is, but the point I want to make is, even if you are doing well, especially compared to the people in your local area, especially maybe compared to your friends or your family, right, there might still be a part of you that doesn't feel enough. Like that lack of self-worth. That's what I notice a lot of people have. And a lot of the time it will come from, not all the time, but a lot of the time it comes from needing this external validation. Like I need them to think I'm good enough. I need this money to prove that I am who I am, right?
Yeah.
And this is where when I do work with you guys and I started doing like Daniel onboarded, Daniel the other day, another guy called Rennie, like these super powerful guys that are doing well. But ultimately, a lot of these guys are tied to material success. Like I am, so notice in your space, this is like, because I hope some people from your space are watching this, right? It's always like, let's just use a random fucking name like Johnny, right? Just so no one gets like targeted. I'm Johnny, right? And I'm the guy that makes 120k a month. It's literally their identity is, I am this person that makes this money.
Yeah.
So what happens when you don't make the money?
Your identity, like there's nothing there.
If you lose the money, you lose the money. You lose your identity, right?
Yeah.
So a big part of what we've done, and one of the most powerful shifts, you were sitting with fucking goosebumps 2 weeks ago when we done this, was like, what are your core values?
Yeah,
like,
the core values.
What are the things that are your actually core values? What are the things that you actually align with to have a truly fulfilling life?
Yeah.
Like who is Leo, right?
Yeah.
What's your true vision? What do you really want from life? Right? What values do you need to align with to get that? Because a lot of people think that you can't be aligned with your core values and have the life that you want. But what I think and what I teach and preach to you guys is having the life that you want is a byproduct of being in alignment with your core values. Like, what are your true, like, top, say, 3 core values, right? And what does life look like when you're in alignment with that, right? Since we had that conversation 2 weeks ago, like, how has that changed the way you're showing up, operating, getting out of bed?
Yeah, this is also like a huge shift we've had, right? Because I think for a very long time, I'd make a lot of money, right? Like 19, when you're making like 15, 20k a month, right? Like, you know, it's
ridiculous.
It's a lot of money. I don't care what, you know, people say like 100k a month's a lot of money. Like if you're making like 10, 15k at the age of 19, the average salary at 19 is like 2k, right?
Max.
Like
some aren't even working.
You know, I was making more than like a lot of my family, right? Like it was insane.
Yeah.
But as you said, right, I want to touch on a few things you said. The feeling of emptiness, right? Now, mine comes from obviously my experience in school. Like I always used to look for external validation all the time because like, as once again, I'll speak about this. I didn't have the best time in school. I didn't have like very good friends in school. Like I was sort of on my own. I had like a very low attendance in school because I didn't not like school. Like, well, I mean, it was all right. Like
people like us don't really gel with the idea of getting told what to do.
Yeah, like I remember asking my business teacher, like, you know, do you run a business? And she said like no. And then after that, like she had like a little bit of a thing on me. But back to the point, right? When it comes to the external validation, right, I noticed I was spending a lot of money on things like I deep down didn't enjoy. For example, right, it's great to go out, but like I was spending money on rubbish like bottles and like cool, like now and again, yeah, it's great. But when you're doing it like every week and you're just like looking for external validation from like women, for example, and like for you to look good in society, like, oh bro, that guy's sick, like he's got a table, like all these girls, like, oh bro, that guy is sick, I want to beat him. You realize like the guy deep down, unless you have that inner peace, right, and you have that inner validation, you're validated to yourself, it will not feel good. Like I can now look at guys, for example, let's just say the table situation. Guys will get a table, and I looked at it the other day, and like I could see who was doing it for society's approval, and then I could see the guys that were doing it just because they wanted to do it for themselves, right? Like they just like, enjoyed being there. And like I looked at my 3 core values, and I realized like it made me completely detach from money, because I realized I did not need 100k a month, 50k a month to live the life I wanted to live. Like I could live that right now, right? And I'll talk about my 3 core values: peace, freedom, and security. Those are my 3 core values. And you made me realize those are the things that make me feel good. And then I related back something I've been doing, I don't think I've told you yet, is writing down what makes me feel good, right? So like the simple things: eating well, going to the gym, doing everything I need to do on a daily basis, having good conversations with good people, managing my team in a really, really good way, like being on a good level and alignment of the vision, going to church on a Sunday. That's a really big one that I completely deleted in my life before. I don't know why. And then, yeah, like I think my best mate, like a few of my best mates said it to me as well. Like they could tell I was changing a little bit. Like, subtly they'd say, like, oh, mate, like, I could tell. When looking back now, I could tell, and like, I've had this shift whilst I've been here though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this has been a huge shift in the past like month.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think it's insane to realize, like, for the life, because that's when you meet people that, for example, let's just take, you know, a multimillionaire, for example. The people that are like, have everything they want from the outside, but like feel like they have nothing. A story like I can't remember her name, but the richest woman in the world at some point took her own life.
Right.
Yeah. And that says a lot, in my opinion.
Bro, this is the thing. It's so what I truly believe, right, is like everyone says like aura farming these days, right? Or like you're farming aura and this kind of fucking saying that people say, right?
Yeah.
I think the ultimate aura, if we're going to use this like modern day term, is being yourself.
Yeah, it is.
It fucking is. Like, just truly being who you are. Like,
truly being yourself.
Yeah, like, align with core values, not tolerating anything that doesn't align with you, fully being, like, transparent with yourself and the people around you in every single way in life. Like, we went to that Now Pool Club.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know how many people said to me, like, oh, bro, you're a Morgan, or, like, you're farming aura, because I was, like, standing with a cigar and the Cartiers on, right? And, like, although it's a joke and it's quite funny, right? But I literally said to one of the boys, I think it was maybe, who's, like, the younger boy? Is it Ollie? You're kind of pal,
yeah, Ollie.
He said something like that to me, right? And I said, bro, like, I'm just being myself. And, like, the ultimate, I think like when you look at like Maslow's pyramid and self-actualization and like getting to the kind of pinnacle of the pyramid, right? Being yourself is a huge part of that. Like, just truly being who you are. And like, when you feel that someone is being authentic, you trust them more. You're more open with them, right? And anyone that's truly themselves, unapologetically, right? They walk into any room, and they're just one of the main energies in the room. And I'm not saying this from an ego standpoint, but you can just feel who's themselves, right? And if you can live truly in alignment with who you really are, like your core values, what you truly desire, what you want, what you need, you're gonna have the life that you want. Like, being yourself has got to be the ultimate. It really has.
Here's a big thing as well. Like you said, then not from like an egotistical standpoint, but when I used to meet guys who were unapologetically themselves, right, and they had this aura because they were themselves, I felt this type of like jealousy towards them, like that they had everything they wanted to and they were happy. But like, I only felt that because I wasn't myself and I wasn't happy in myself, right? So I think like the only, like, you know, when you meet, like when two people meet, they're both themselves, like they get on typically, right? Like, it's very rare they won't get on because like, they're like, you know, he's being himself, I'm being myself. Like, you mess with them either way, 100%. Even if you don't have like similar, you know, beliefs, or, you know, you like the same stuff, you'll still mess with each other to some sort of level, right?
100%.
And for me, I always used to be very jealous. And when I look back now, you said that, I was because I was so insecure in myself.
That's what it is.
So insecure as well.
That's what it is. It's like, there's Chase Hughes is like a really powerful guy, and he said something about his granddad said this to him, right? And I love the way he says it. There's something about him that I don't like in me. So like the ultimate, like, Chase Hughes teaches the levels of development or stages of development, right?
Yeah.
I kind of put it into like the 5 stages of conscious awareness. That's what I teach in like the modules, that's what I teach you guys. And like stage number 5 is understanding and living from a sense of unity. Like, we're all connected and everyone is a reflection of you, right? And when you get to this point where everyone's a reflection of you and you really take ownership and you really realize that if you were them, you would do the exact same thing. And if there's something that about them that you don't like, it's something in you that you don't like. It's never them, it's always you.
Yeah.
When you get to that stage of really living a sense of unity, taking complete ownership, never judging other people, you're in complete control.
Yeah.
Because no one can control you.
The awareness you gave me as well, I can see things in other people now, like very clearly. Like, I used to think great leaders were great leaders because like they were just born with leadership. It's not leadership. It's the state they're in and how they can reflect that state onto other people and their beliefs and the way they are onto other people.
100%. And like what we've started to kind of go into and dig into, especially in the last kind of conversation that we had, and you've like, without disclosing who, right, but you, with people in your life, have used what I've given you in terms of like, just notice this about this person. And maybe try and say this in this way to see if it influences them, right? And this is where like with you guys, like the kind of one-to-one mastery clients, it's not only, and we can speak a bit about hypnosis as well. It's not only doing hypnosis with you guys, right? It's teaching you the kind of like most powerful things that you can have in life, and it's the ability to read other people, and persuade other people. As well.
Also, like help them as well, right? Like you do it from a place of like,
that's what you're doing, yeah.
Love, because if someone like if I notice something about someone that like you can just tell that like it isn't truly them, right? And they're doing it to either protect themselves, because it's never like, I don't think anyone does anything from like a selfish, like I hate you point of view. I feel like people do things from like to protect something that they're going through or something that they're not comfortable within themselves. Would you agree?
I would say there's definitely some selfish cunts, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some selfish,
right? But no, but what your point you're making, this is why it shows the level you're now thinking on, because you're not judging someone for being selfish. You're looking at them as they have developed this protective, this survival pattern, likely as a child, and that script that was written as a child is still running as an adult. This is what you're now seeing. This is the lens that I'm giving you, and we're working together. Like you're seeing children that have never healed, rather than seeing an adult as being selfish or weird.
You like can't. You can almost not blame them if they haven't got that awareness.
You
like
can't.
They have to have that awareness, and this is what you're doing, right? You're going to build the biggest business in the world when it comes to giving people the most awareness in the world, right? Like, I truly believe you'll build that business as well because it's so powerful, and the shift can happen like that. As soon as someone becomes aware, their life changes. And like, I was so surprised that like your life can just change, you know? Like when I met you, I was in a really depressed state at 8K a month, right? And then now I feel amazing. Obviously I want to hit the big numbers, but I don't feel like there's like, I don't pedestalize the goal anymore. It's not like I need to hit 100K to beat me. I don't put my value on money anymore. And like next month, bro, I'm telling you now, I will do 100K.
100%.
Because my energy, my state, the calmness, it will attract everything that I need to attract. My team will be more aligned. And like, you know, when you meet people and you're like, man, everything just goes well. How does everything go well for them? Like, how is there nothing? Things are going bad for them, but it's the effect they let it have on them. And then because they're in a good state most of the time, 99% of the time, they don't attract bad things, right?
That's literally it. I'm going to do a piss very quickly, bro.
Yeah, no stress.
We'll keep flowing.
This is good so far.
Really good.
Yeah. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nice. What's the time?
We're looking at 45 minutes.
Nice.
Sorry, I just had to do a little break there. But no, 100%. This is what like you said there about when people, they still have like negative thoughts, negative things happen to them, but because they maintain a good state most of the time, they're not necessarily like really thrown off, or the results in their life aren't really negatively impacted as much.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I want to speak a little bit about as well, like the kind of hypnosis that I've done with Leo as well. Because I feel like hypnosis, people think hypnosis is like turning people into chickens, right? Obviously there's like stage hypnosis. Have I learned a bit of that? Could I get Leo right now to like glue his hands together and not open them? I could, right? But where I've really put my focus on with hypnosis is like the therapy side of things, like actually helping people remove real resistance. It's cool to put someone to sleep and give them confidence on the spot, but to actually really permanently change their life in a really meaningful way is understanding what things, essentially what it comes from. Let me just make it very simple. And this is what I'm saying. I explain these things to my clients in a very simple way for them to understand it. You were born with no limitations. You were born like at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. You didn't know what stress was. You didn't know what overthinking was. You didn't know what making money was or anxiety. You didn't really learn any of these things yet, right? And then by about 7 or 8 years old, and this is something that I've realized recently, is about 7 or 8, let's just say it's 8 because it sounds cooler, right? 8 is literally the infinity logo. Think about by 8, you've been limited for the most part by 8 years old. So at 8, the infinity logo, you become limited. It must not be fucking random. Like, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
I maybe think it's more crazy than most people, but I just clicked in my head. I was like, fuck, by 8 years old, you're actually mostly limited, right? But why are you limited? What actually happens? Well, I want you to picture the life where you are brought into this world and your dad and your family are billionaires. And your dad is really into either if it's religion or spirituality, but he has done a lot of introspection, a lot of inner work, a lot of self-development, and he's really authentic. And the only thing he teaches you is to be yourself, to love yourself, to be confident, to take opportunities, that fear isn't real, it's an illusion, it's just thoughts in your head. And imagine you were taught all these things, like really the way my children are going to be fucking unlimited, right? It's actually unbelievable, because I will be like hundreds of millions by the time I'm having kids, or at least tens of millions, depends how quickly I have the kids. But imagine that was your life. Well, you wouldn't have any resistance. You wouldn't have any real anxiety. You wouldn't have any doubt. You would just have, oh my God, like life's abundant. Like I can have anything I fucking want, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where we all start. We actually all start with the ability to be that, and then life teaches you all these limitations, right? You learn all these, like, I can't do this, and this thing's bad, you get punished by this, you get rewarded by this, and then you start to, like, navigate your way through life and start to then survive. You start to, like, change who you are to fit in, right? And this is why people are like, I'm not good enough, I need to be funny to be friends with this person. Like, you learn all these things, right? And ultimately, when I'm working with clients, they will have experiences that they went through in life. And let's just use the example of Leo. When you were younger, I think you said again, it's like you didn't have a good time at school. No. Or like you were bullied at school, or like there was negative things happening at school, right? Yeah. So that negative experience that you had, right, of being embarrassed, or maybe, again, not being good enough, or maybe you tried to tell a joke one time. Let's just hypothetically say you tried to be yourself and you got laughed at.
Yeah. Bang on.
That happened?
Yeah, stuff like that.
How did I know? No, I'm kidding. But we've already done this work, so I know. Yeah. So that happened, right? So Leo being himself as like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, like that was negative. There was a negative emotion tied to that, right? And what happens when he had this negative experience, negative emotion, that negative emotion was stored in his subconscious mind, in his nervous system. And it's stored in this part of him that, and it never goes away. Unless it's like removed, rewired, like really like he shines a light on it and it becomes conscious of it, it's kind of always there, right? And there's a thing called emotional resonance where the stored emotions and memories you have, the unconscious part of your mind will trigger a physiological response. So this is why Leo today, before we done the work, and we can speak about this is why I'm kind of tying it into the recent hypnosis that we've done. He was getting this kind of irrational doubt and fear about things not working, right? Or about like posting content or whatever it was. And ultimately it's because the present moment that he was experiencing today was emotionally resonating with those stored emotions. So this negative, like the anxiety, the fear, the embarrassment, whatever it was that was stored in his subconscious mind, his nervous system. Using hypnosis, what you can do is you can use techniques where you I get my client into like a really relaxed state. It's called theta brainwave state. And when you get into this relaxed state, you're in a position where you can let go and remove the emotional charge from these memories. And when you let go of the emotional charge from these memories, I use a couple of the main techniques that I used is age regression and somatic release. That's like two of the kind of main ones that I would speak about. Obviously, there's fractionation, there's induction to get them into state and stuff. But ultimately, those two techniques, there's a really powerful hypnotist called Calvin Banyan. Really powerful guy. And he speaks about age regression, the technique that I use. It's almost like giving your younger self hindsight. So it's like going back and being with that version of you that decided to be limited, that decided not to be themselves, that felt really negative in that scenario. And it's almost being there with them and allowing them to never feel like that initially. Like I said, imagine your parents were a billionaire, you were taught to love yourself, you would never have any negative experiences. Yeah. Well, with the hypnosis, using age regression, for example, as one of the techniques, you can go back and give that younger self comfort, peace, love, confidence, and then you come out of it, you've done the somatic, you release that, you installed a new identity and all the kind of things.
You know what's crazy that I noticed about hypnosis as well, bro? When we like finish hypnosis, I don't feel it there and then. Like you feel powerful in the moment,
you're not supposed to.
It's like you just feel it. Like it's like the new state, just like in you after that. It's pretty insane, you know. I just like feel these things like it is a bit mad, you know, like you just feel it removed, but you don't realize it. Like you don't like see it leave. it just leaves, and you just wake up and you're good.
So the cool thing is you're not even sleeping, so you don't wake up. You just come out the state.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
like, yeah, it's hypnosis is the craziest thing, because I remember saying to you, like, bro, I don't understand hypnosis. Like, I don't think it's working. You know, but it was working. But you don't, like, there's no, like, you feel the shift. For me, I felt the shift, like, not over time, but like, I just felt it just like, there was no like real, like, deep feeling of a shift. It was just like, that happened, and I was like, went from this to this like that.
Well, exactly. And to finish the kind of little point that I was making was, you come out of it, I ask you, like, tell me about that memory that you had. Can you still feel it? And you're like, what? How can I not feel that? Like, with Daniel the other day, like on Sunday, I said to him, like, tell me about that, or Saturday night, whenever it was, tell me about that memory that you had. Because before when he explained the memory, he was like anxious when he like felt the feeling, right? I said, bro, tell me about the memory. How does it feel? He was like, okay, what just fucking happened? How can I not feel that?
Yeah, you can't feel the thing that happened.
You can't feel, there's no
like,
emotion.
You know, let's relate it back to that really bad time I had in school, right? I can't feel the feeling I had in school. I physically cannot feel it in my stomach.
Yep.
That bad feeling of like doubt and stuff, I can't feel it. Like it's
almost like magic.
It's like, you don't think this stuff works until you do it. Like, you actually don't as well. Because when I say this as well, I was like,
Leo's one of the most pessimistic motherfuckers.
Yeah, I was against this mindset shit.
Yeah,
I was like, they just got lucky. Like, fuck these lot. You know, they're just like born different, right? Literally. And then when you tap into it, and you're thinking like, oh, mindset, limiting beliefs. You know, like, you become one of them guys. Like, oh, it's a load of shit. Just to.
You were making jokes about it after the mastermind. You're like, that's a limited belief. And you're kind of like joking, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, see people that don't think it works, and they're like kind of against it. It's because they've got a fear that it works. And there's a part of you, like you spoke about your ego, right? There's a part of you, like, you've developed this baseline identity, like what you're familiar with, what's normal, what's safe, over your whole life. And there's a part of your brain called the default mode network, and this is kind of like where this baseline identity almost runs, right? If you think about it like that. And your ego stands in front. I want you to think about this analogy, because I do everything in analogies. I put it in my client's head so they can really get it, right? We talk about pendulums from reality transfer, and I give them analogies and stuff. But your ego will kind of almost like be guarding your default mode network. Like, I don't want you to change. I don't want you to become anything that's not familiar, right? That's why you experience this resistance. But that ego is protecting what you've, like who you became over your whole life.
Right.
And what hypnosis allows you to do is remove that emotion from the past experience, remove that anxiety, remove that doubt, remove that resistance to changing. So you have the ego come up, but right now, as it shows up, it's not anymore that anxiety in your stomach, that doubt in your chest, that tight feeling.
No.
It's a thought that you can observe and not be attached to.
Yeah.
And this is where, like, when you remove that emotion from the nervous system, you're not unconsciously triggering a physiological response anymore. You don't feel the anxiety. A thought might pop in, but you can observe and detach yourself from it and not be controlled by it. So, and again, how long was the hypnosis session? It was 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Like,
it was literally 10 fucking minutes.
This whole like shift that we've had, hypnosis was definitely the most powerful thing. But in terms of like everything adds together, would you agree? Like, you have to be aware for the, like, not for the hypnosis to work, but like everything has to like.
No, it is.
It's like a puzzle.
It is. Like, hypnosis is a tool, right? So the reason why I'm not just like, I might brand myself as a hypnotist, but like, I just use hypnosis as a tool. Yeah. I don't only do hypnosis, right? Like the full success system that I've got.
Yeah, it's insane, right? Like every morning you wake up, journal, and then anchor state track. That gets you in the right state.
State alignment protocol.
The state alignment like midday, like that's always a good one as well.
There's state anchor tools and these kind of things.
Yeah.
To anchor your state all the time. But then like the full success system that I've got, and we're not going to go into this in detail, but hypnosis is cool, right? It's like we can remove resistance. Oh my God, I can't feel it anymore. I can feel it. I can do whatever I fucking want, right? One point I want to make before I go into that. You said it's almost like you don't notice it. And the reason why is because when you're doing hypnosis, the change is happening at a subconscious level. So you're not
conscious.
You're not consciously aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And this is why, like, people watching this, and I really hope there's guys watching this that are successful, because this is like insight. If you watch this podcast and you don't learn something new perspective, or reinforce something powerful, you weren't listening to the podcast, right? But this is why you have this experience of resistance that you can't see. It's like this invisible resistance. Like, why do I feel this? Why? And it's because it operates below your conscious awareness. Another thing about your subconscious mind is it's completely irrational. So it doesn't logically make any sense. And if you've had an experience that's negative and you're tying a negative emotion to money, success, being yourself, whatever it is, there's this subconscious association that money is stressful. Being myself isn't safe, right? And as long as that subconscious association exists, you're going to find you've got this invisible resistance. You're going to find that you've got this irrational doubt, this irrational fear. And that's the point I'm making is below your conscious awareness. So you can't see it and you can just feel it. And that's why it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people do is, and let me quickly explain why you got to a point of feeling depressed, right? And let me know if it makes sense.
Yeah.
You see it happened kind of when you were like 13, right? Likely you had an experience when you were 13 where it was like negative. Maybe it was that time in school.
Yeah, it
right?
was. No, it definitely was.
Right? And what happens, and I've learned this from like studying hypnotherapists and like different books I've been reading the last kind of like 3 months. You have this bad feeling. And because we don't understand our feelings very well, like society's taught us to suppress our feelings.
Yeah.
If you're a boy and you're crying, you're being a wee girl, right? Or if you're a girl and you're being too out there, like, be a woman, right?
Pick me, yeah.
Right? It's like, suppress your feelings, don't deal with them, right? Don't understand them, suppress them, right? That's what we've been taught. So you felt bad at 13, and then instead of dealing with it and understanding it, because, I mean, you're 13, I don't blame you, right? But this happens to adults, happens to everyone, so this cycle will apply to everyone. You feel bad, but then instead of dealing with it because you don't understand it, you distract yourself. And maybe you distract yourself, like, with FIFA at the time.
Yeah.
Playing FIFA. Again, at 13, 14, you're probably watching porn, right? So it's like you do these different things.
Eating
like
bad food.
Eating shit food, munchies, whatever it was, right? So you feel bad, then you distract yourself. And then when you distract yourself, you feel bad again. But then when you feel bad again, you distract yourself. And you go into this like cycle of feeling bad, distract, feeling bad, distract. But after a long period of time of doing that, you eventually start to get frustrated because you're like, fuck, like nothing's really changing. I'm kind of getting pissed off. Why do I still feel bad, right? But then you feel frustrated, then you distract. And then you get frustrated and then distract, right? And then you go into this frustration, feel bad, distract cycle. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, there's no fucking hope. Like, I actually can't change. Like, fuck this, right? Yeah. And depression through this lens is you kind of giving up. Before you explode, before you genuinely...
You give up.
Like, you almost give up, right? It's like a defensive mechanism. Your brain just kind of like goes, like, this, you need a break, right? Depression. Let's just avoid doing things. There's no point. Let's not even try, right? But then, why did we work together, right? Maybe you had the depression, but you had this little like thing inside of you, this little wave of like a good feeling, good thought, like, fuck, I can actually change and I want to do something different. Yeah. Cool thing for you is you acted on that, we locked in. And maybe it was me messaging you that prompted you, right? But it's still, you still had that little wave. So the cool thing is, if you're in that depression, if you're in that frustration cycle, if you're in that feel bad, distract cycle, you're very likely at some point going to get a little good idea that comes in.
You know what it was? It was like, well, if I'm like, if this is it, like this is it, and I may as well try something different. That was what I think it was.
Exactly. That's perfect.
But I think everyone has to like put the ego aside, because I know footballers doing this as well, and everyone obviously admires a lot of footballers. They're like, footballers are sick. People do not realize how many every single footballer, in my opinion, is tapping into the mindset side of things. Like every single footballer gets to like that next level, right? And I think business owners, even like, you know, some business owners might be watching this at 50, 100k a month, and their ego will not allow them to like work with someone like you, right? Or work with you. I'd always recommend you. And I think that's because of, as I said, the ego, right? But for them to, how would you say for someone who's in a position right now making 50 to 100, maybe even 200k a month, right? Because there's always that next level of inner peace to get to. How do they remove the ego to work with someone like you?
So isn't it, again, I love that question. It's amazing. It's less about removing the ego, and it's more about like listening to what you know you should do. Like we all have this intuition of like, I know that this is the right thing to do, but then it gets to the ego and it gets scrambled. So it's less about losing the ego, because you need an ego to drive forward. You need an ego to build a business. Like I respect people that have egos, because that's what helps you drive forward, right? A lot of the time. But so it's not about losing ego as much as more about like listening to what the truth is to you. Like we all have this intuition where we feel what's right. Right. And I'm never in a position ever where I want someone to work with me, right? They need to want to work with me. There needs to be a desire, right? Without a desire to change, it won't fucking work. Like I've had clients recently that are like, oh, like I'm working for this guy on this offer and I want him to work with you because he's at 100k a month, but I know he could get to $1 million a month if he worked with you. I said, well, does he think he's got problems? No, he doesn't. Does he want to do the work? No, he doesn't. I don't want to work with him then.
You can't.
I don't want to work with anyone that doesn't want to work with me. Like, I don't operate in a scarcity mindset where I'm like trying to convince these guys that are making fit. Like, I don't really give a fuck, right? But when someone wants to work with me, the game changes quick.
Yeah.
When you came to me, within a week, depression gone. And it's because you were ready to make the change. So I would say less about losing the ego and more about listening to what you know you should do. There's guys that know they should tap into this work because they're not fully fulfilled. They are, I am XYZ that makes this much. They're not really aligned with their core purpose, like our true purpose. They're not really aligned with their core values. What I've noticed as well, bro, a lot of these guys, they're around people they don't really fuck with.
Yeah, I also agree with that as well.
They're in circles like talking shit about each other.
Yeah,
like, I'm not calling names out because I could sit and fucking name everyone because I don't give a fuck. You'll never catch me doing that shit.
No.
Truly authentic, truly transparent, right? But a lot of these guys don't even like each other. And they're like sharing like, oh, I love this guy helped me do this. And they're like on social media, they're best friends. And I've heard from different people like about other people like, oh, I don't really fuck with that guy, his fulfillment shit, blah, blah, blah. But this is what I'm saying to you, right? Like a lot of these guys, they're not authentic because they're not truly aligned with who they are.
Yeah, and then I look at them guys now, I'm like, I don't care if you have £100 million in the bank. I would not swap lives with you.
No, bro.
Because you're not comfortable in yourself.
And I'm not calling you out, but were you kind of one of those guys? Like maybe not fully, but like to a degree where you'd be around people you didn't fully fuck with.
Yeah.
As part of the circle, as part of the.
Obviously, because it's just like what society like felt. Oh, this guy like makes money, so I should be around him. But like, I will not, like, since we started working together, I will not surround myself with someone that I like genuinely do not actually fuck with.
Yep.
Like I actually won't as well.
Literally.
You know, and if it's a case of like, look, someone I can see like not the potential they have, but like, I can see like they just need like one or two things like removing. I'll just, as you say, like question them on it and help them shift. But if it's someone like I don't want to be around, I'll just like that is peace. Like, bro, I don't have to fuck with you.
Yeah,
like there's so much money in the world, opportunity in the world. I do not need to be around a certain type of person to have and attract that.
And this is the thing as well. Like it's the conversation's always about money. Like it always is.
Yeah.
It's always like let's work with like a hypnotist to make more money.
Yeah.
Let's work with Kyle to make more money. But like you only make more money, really make more money when you truly align with who you are. I keep going back to this because I really feel like it's so important. Like there's so many guys that are, bro, there's 17-year-olds out here making 100+ K a month. But I mean, love them so much. 17, core values aren't really aligned, purpose isn't really clear. So it's like you need to get these things in order to make money that actually matters, right? So if you're, again, you spoke about that woman that was like one of the richest women in the world and she ended up taking her own life.
Yeah.
Happens quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because they think the money's going to make them happy. They think
the money's, it's not the money.
You never want money, you always want freedom. It's always freedom that you want if you want money.
You just want freedom and control.
Well, yeah, the security.
Yeah, the security.
It's security and freedom that people want because with wanting money, right? But this is why, again, I'm so happy that I'm working with guys like you, working with guys like Daniel that are doing really well in business as it is. And you're young. You're 21. Daniel's 20. You're 21? 20, right? 20, 21, young fucking guys. Yeah. If at this point in your life you get clear on your core values, you get clear on your purpose, and get clear on who you really are, you're going to be a multimillionaire quicker, but in a way that actually allows you to love your fucking life.
Yeah, because I've met so many people at this point where, like, cool, mate, you've got everything you want, but you're not happy. That was the thing that like made me really curious about mindset. Like, how does someone achieve everything they set out to achieve and they're still not happy?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
You know?
Just misalignment with core values, literally what it is. And to go back to one of the points that we're going to make about the kind of success system and what I do outside the hypnosis, because we went into hypnosis there, a big part of what I do with my clients is, and done with Leo, is we audit their whole life. Right? So like what in your, like, and we audit their mind, their beliefs, we audit everything, right? But one of the things is their life, because you can do hypnosis, you can have a really powerful shift, but your environment needs to support the new identity. Mm-hmm. The new version of you that you're trying to become, that needs to be supported, right, by your life, by your environment, by the people you're around, by your habits, because what Leo's managed to do since we worked together as well, lock back into fitness. Obviously, he's got a fitness coach, I'll give credit to him, but a big part of why Leo probably didn't feel as good as he did when we started was because of the fitness aspect, the eating, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So that's all happened because Leo's looked at his whole life and thought, right, well, I want to make more money, but I'm overeating here. I keep doing this thing here. I keep distracting myself here, right?
Yeah.
That was part of your life.
Yep.
You've removed that. You've aligned that with the version of you that has success. And this shift that you've had with hypnosis, it's almost like you're just on this upwards trajectory now because everything is supporting the new shift and the new version of you that you became.
Mm-hmm.
Most important, like one of the most important parts about this. This is why, again, can I say I'm a hypnotist? I do hypnosis. I'm really fucking good at it. But it's not all I do. It's just one bit of it.
It's one piece of the puzzle.
It's one tool.
It's like how I spoke about the negative puzzle before. This is the positive puzzle. You know?
Yeah.
Like the hypnosis, the awareness, the eating well, the focus, the attention, the state. That is the puzzle of positiveness.
Bro, 100%. And it's like I know, again, I'm like, my brain's like going to go into like the full success system. I don't need to. But I would genuinely challenge anyone, to run through my success system, do hypnosis, and not change your life. Like, it can't happen.
Yeah, there's no possible outcome. Science backs it. Proof backs it. Because if I could go from the state I was in, like being depressed, not wanting to be here, wanting to take my own life, like straight. I haven't really said that before, but I'll say it straight. Like, I did not want to be here. To like being just myself, happy in life for the first time ever. Truly been happy since maybe 12, 13. And we haven't like really worked together. Like, I don't personally give people credits when like they actually haven't done anything, but like, and I have a track record of this, right? Like, when someone doesn't provide a good service, I'll tell them straight.
Call them out.
Yeah, I do, like, because like it pisses me off how like someone can charge ridiculous amounts of money and like not provide the service, but you were like, couldn't recommend it enough. I actually couldn't as well. And if you wanted to reach out to me, text me on IG.
Appreciate it so much, bro. And again, it's the truth. It's like, we're not sitting here fucking lying. And it's cool because a lot of people do like, Leo has this experience with people charging him all sorts of money and not really giving him the fucking service, right? He had that experience, and now it's not going to happen, right? But because we went and done like this fucking content at a villa like 2 weeks ago, and Leo just kept like indirectly outing people that are charging too much and not giving the service and shit, right? We're not going to name names, but I mean, for the investment that you've made, like, what has this opened up for you? Like, in comparison to the ROI on what you've spent monetarily?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 15k on different things before, but this is the best 15k I've ever spent.
Yeah.
Like, could have bought a watch.
Literally, bro.
Could have bought a Rollie.
What is the ROI? Like, I want your genuine, honest perspective. Like, what is your ROI on the investment?
ROI was bigger than anything that I could, like, money could buy. Like, ROI was waking up in the morning and not wanting to not be here, you know? Like, the ROI was waking up and feeling inner peace for the first time ever. Like, whether I make $1 million next month or I make 1k next month, I'll feel the exact same.
I actually love that so much because, like, we can say that Leo, like, I could sit and say that I phoned Leo, so like we had like a little break of working together, and then we worked together again, and his state kind of like wasn't as consistent as it was when we were working together. He kind of mentioned that before, right? And we looked back in. I had a 20-minute phone call that day. You closed like what, 7k in the day or whatever it was. Yeah, that's quite a cool monetary result.
No, it is. It is cool because the state's aligned, and then this time the state is consistently aligned, like consistent, and that is why I genuinely do believe I'll do over 100k next month.
You will. Like, it's done.
There's no like resistance, because always before there was like sort of resistance towards it.
Yeah, there wasn't full conviction.
It wasn't fully there. Yeah. But now, like, I'm telling you, bro.
But the thing that I really love is that your kind of like ROI had nothing to do with money.
Nothing to do with money.
It's perfect.
Nothing to do with money.
Although you did 3 to 5x in a month.
Yeah, like of course. Like, the money's great, but like, it's the way you make the money. The way you make the money.
Yeah.
Like, I now feel like I will go to 100 million, right? Like this. And I will feel good now, and I will feel good then. That is the most important thing to me, because I've met so many successful people that feel lost and they feel like they're not themselves.
That's perfect, bro.
And I'm so glad I've had this shift at such a young age, right? Because
it's fucking mental.
20 years old, you know, like you forget the shift that you have so quick, right? Like 20 years old, right? Like it's young, and
it's young as fuck.
You forget like how much you actually achieve in at a young age.
When you get to 30, you're gonna have tens of millions.
Yeah.
And you'll just be starting life.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. It's like you can fuck up for 15 years
Yeah.
from this point on and still figure it out. So like the fact I'm doing it at 20 years old and people can have this shift at such a young age.
This is like the inner work. This is a cool thing, right? So I've got a twin brother that, if no one knows, like, if you're watching the More Life podcast, like this podcast from my side, you'll know Jack, obviously. But me and Jack haven't taken the path of, like, these guys are 20 and they're making 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K a month and stuff, right? And it's because they've kind of positioned themselves and leveraged themselves to make money, like, quicker, if that makes, like, in a way, like, you've positioned yourself to, like, sell this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, fucking 17-year-olds that are selling info, whatever it is, right? But it's cool because me and Jack haven't really taken that path. Me and Jack went to college. I can remember, and I'll be so transparent, so honest, right? Because I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. Me and Jack were like 17, 18, sitting smoking joints, right? Watching Tony Robbins. I'm 25, 26 this year. So like for 7, 8 years, me and Jack have been like really watching Tony Robbins, doing the inner work, doing the self work. But for 7, 8 years, we didn't have a lot of money, right? We just been doing all this inner work, taking mushrooms, meditations, like we're doing all this inner work. Like, who are we? What are our core values? Why are we here? What's our purpose, right? And now that me and Jack have completely found our purpose, now we're ready to change fucking lives and make money, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. But the work that I'm doing with Leo, the work I'm doing with Daniel, like Daniel Cooey, one of my clients, I fucking love Daniel so much. He's 20 as well, isn't he? 21?
Yeah, 20 or 21.
21?
Yeah.
He done fucking 65 grand last month, right? And he's plans to do like 100K this month and a $250,000. He's like, okay, we're doing $1 million this year and a month, right? Fucking mental at his age. But the work that I'm doing him is like the inner work that me and Jack spent 7, 8 years doing. But I'm helping you guys like.
It looks like an overnight thing, but it's work of 7, 8 years.
This is what I'm saying. I'm giving you guys like the paradigm, asking yourself the questions that it took me 7, 8 years to figure out.
Yeah.
And I said this, like, I just spent 3 weeks living in a villa with my team, like a couple of my sales closers, appointments, like my fucking brothers. I love them so much. And I was standing one night and we're just fucking standing having a conversation. I was like up till 2 a.m. every fucking night, just like funneling infinite intelligence with them. And I was like, it's actually fucking unbelievable because the perspective and the paradigm that I can help you guys shift into took me 7, 8 years to fucking work out.
And
like,
you can shift into it, like, you can help us shift into it like that.
I can help give you that in fucking like a minute. Like, it's like ridiculous, or like weeks of work, obviously, but like it's amazing because you guys are getting the inner work that most people take years and years to do, right? But this is the inner work that you need to do to stand in the room with billionaires and not feel inferior because they've got more money, right? Because at the very top of the game, I've spoke to like really successful people. I've spoke to people that are like, they've got networks of billionaires, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a people game. Like when it comes to truly being successful, going back to one of the points I made, being truly successful isn't just monetary, right?
No.
It's being your fucking self.
Yep.
It's who are you? What is your actual purpose? Like, why are you on this planet? How are you helping people? Like, who are you when no one's looking? Like, that's what really fucking matters, bro. And this is the inner work that I'm doing with you. And that's why your ROI isn't, okay, well, we went from this in December and we went with 3 to 4 extra revenue in a month. Like, you did inside a month 3 to 4 extra revenue, right?
Yeah, we did.
Cool, right? But the better thing is you found inner peace, you found out who you are, and you're now aligned with this path of purpose. Like, since we had that conversation about the core values and we've done the security thing, has your perspective slightly shifted on how you're running your business and the impact you're having? Has it changed in any way?
Yeah, of course. Like, majorly changed, because I realized I was like, because the reason I still felt like that slight resistance, that slight doubt, was because I wasn't truly aligned with how I was operating with my core values. And then that was like, okay, the shifts I need to have, I need to do this with this client, I need to change this structure with this structure. Like, I need to do more volume. Like, the reason I feel like some doubt is because I'm not posting enough, I'm not making it unreasonable for me not to win. Like, and that was like the resistance. And
tell me if I'm wrong, right? Since we became clear on your core values a couple of weeks ago, like, again, because we looked in person, done some really powerful work, am I wrong that you then realised what you've been trying to do this full time is allow other people to have the security in their life?
Yeah.
Because you're like, I've been seeking security without knowing it.
Yeah.
But what I've really been doing with my business is helping other people like get that security in their life, which is your purpose. This is what I'm saying. Like, Leo didn't find his purpose. You don't, in my opinion, you don't find your purpose. Jay Shetty is another really powerful like teacher. He was a monk for 3 years, right? He's a really, really powerful guy. And he speaks about you don't find your purpose, you align with it.
Yeah.
So when you align with who you really are, the purpose will appear. Like, you'll go like, fuck, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. I feel like I've had that as well.
It's fucking perfect.
Because my big goal is to build the biggest mental health company in the world.
I fucking love it.
Right.
That's
and
fun.
it's definitely something we'll work on together, but I just don't think it's right that someone wakes up and wants to take their own life.
It's fucked.
Like,
No-
it's fucked, bro.
No one deserves to have guilt, shame, regret, like fucking being unhappy. Like, I actually genuinely, right, could, like, it sounds a bit fucking like, but I could get emotional about the fact that there's so many little children that don't choose to be limited.
Nah,
Like,
no.
they have a wee shitty experience and that shapes them for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
I
'cause
feel so passionate about that shit.
it's true, man. Like, there'll be a 12, 13-year-old out there at the minute who's having a shit time at school, and that will go on to affect him for the rest of his life.
The rest of their life, I just got goosebumps. It's fucked because
it's really bad.
it's bullshit. Because and
it's
that's what I don't want to happen.
Because
Right?
I wanted to solve bullying. Like, that was what I wanted to solve. But I don't think that is the core problem. The core problem is what we spoke about today. It's like everything we spoke about, you know.
Fully. And we could say so much fucking more, bro, but no, it is. It really is, bro. And this is where, like, the work that we're really doing, like, again, to reinforce, there's a version of, I don't care how much money you're fucking making right now. I don't care, like, if you're doing 100K, 200K, 500K. If you don't fully, truly feel fulfilled, there's an experience that you've had in life that has not allowed you to really, like, express yourself fully. Or there's something still stored within you that's not, it's kind of weighing you down a little bit.
Yep.
You don't feel fully free and unlimited. You don't deserve to have it. Like, I really believe that no one deserves to have that. Like, it's so fucking shit that anyone has to carry that. And again, the reason why I've found myself doing hypnosis, I started off doing, like, personal training like 5-6 years ago. And yeah, 5-6 years ago, like 5.5 years ago now. And I've just naturally gravitated towards the quickest and best way to change someone and really help them make a big change quick.
Yeah.
And that is hypnosis. And it's
Like, I was talking about to you, like, building, like, you know, a certain something, you know, I'm not going to drop the business model on the call, just in case, you know, on the pod, in case, you know, anyone wanted to. No one could replicate what we're going to do, but have something where everyone in the world has access to it like that. And it controls certain things which allows them to become unlimited. You know, that needs to be done, bro.
And see the thing that you just said there about, like, biggest mental health, like, my vision, true vision, is to change millions of lives, right? Like, not just, like, hypnotize some billionaires and make, like, I think that's a lot of the time people are thinking that, right? But I generally want to change millions of lives. That's my fucking, like, genuine sole purpose. And part of my vision is as well as anyone I love and care about, like you, any clients I've got, you're also a part of that mission. You might not be branded as More Life, but I teach you things that you teach other people, or like you pass on this awareness, right? And so much so that I'm going to actually maybe get a podcast with my mum while she's in Marbella, because I flew my mum, my little sister, and my girlfriend out. And my mum is now becoming a life coach to coach parents and mums and like, to help them raise their children.
It's already started.
Bro, it's perfect. It's like everyone I love and care about, selfishly, they need to be a part of this mission. Because the more people that are aware and spreading this, the better, right? And like we spoke about, knowledge isn't power, implementation is. The wisdom that you learn, the things that we do together, the things that I do in my YouTube, the awareness that I put out, it's not your awareness until you've taught it. You need to teach this when you learn it. Like, cool, you could pay me money, become unlimited, make so much money, but anyone that comes to me and works with me ends up wanting to pass this on in some way. They're like, I can't know this and not fucking tell people.
It's crazy, bro. I'm going to say this to wrap up, right? If I was to put a bet on a certain person or a certain vision that someone has, I'd put all my eggs on you, bro, just because of the work you've done. I worked with so many therapists, like, and as I said, like, to wrap up, I'll say I was in the worst situation of my life, right? Like, actually tried to take my own life. I don't know if you know that, but I actually tried to take my own life. It was when I was abroad and I was 17 years old, and I called a few of my mates and I said, hey bro, like, I really don't want to be here anymore. Like, this is past the point of just not wanting to be here. And for someone to help me change that, I couldn't thank you enough, bro. Look, you know, I tell you, I can't thank you enough for helping me change the way that I wake up in the morning, you know. And as long as you can do that, as you do, for millions and billions of other people, I'm sure, bro, you'll have the biggest and the best organisation, which most importantly helps people in the world.
I love you, bro. You're a legend.
Okay.
It's so good. And yeah, anyone at all, it doesn't matter if you're making, just to, again, as a final message, This is real fucking shit. Like, it's not, like, a lot of people online, they're like, oh, we made this and done that. Like, this podcast has been very fucking raw. We've not even scripted it. There's been nothing fucking thought out. There's no script at all. And to be fair, in my mind, I'm like, bro, we could do another 6 hours of podcasting and still keep talking about all the books and all the shit that we've learned, because there's so much more shit we've done.
Oh, so much, yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you're making $2,000 a month, $200,000 a month. Like, if you don't feel fully, truly fulfilled, right, in any, like, in every way possible, you don't feel like, fuck, life is just here. I'm here in life and this is fucking perfect. Like, message Leo, message me, reach out, right? There's so many ways that we can, like, I can help you, give you the awareness. There's so many ways that Leo can help, especially young guys that are maybe wanting to learn a skill, get into sales. Like, Leo's your guy for that. There's so many ways that we could, like, help you, right? Whether it's literally, like, a couple £100 for, like, this awareness is going to change your life, or it's locking in with me one-to-one, locking in with Leo one-to-one, whatever it is, whatever stage that you're at. If you don't feel truly fulfilled, if you don't truly feel in a position where life is fucking perfect, because you should feel like that. Are we robots? Do we go off state sometimes? 100%, right? But if life doesn't feel like fuck, it's just exactly, this is how shit should be, then you don't deserve anything less than that. And I truly, genuinely believe that. Not even on a salesy point of view. I don't even really want you to pay me money if it wasn't something that you didn't want to change. But if you do have that desire, please reach out and fucking do something about it, because I would love to help you. 100%.
It works.
It fucking works as well.
It fucking works.
But until the next podcast, this has essentially been the More Life podcast. Have you got a YouTube?
Yeah, Leo Conway closes.
So what we'll probably do is just post this as a collab video on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. My client cures his depression in 10 minutes. That's going to be the clickbait too. But it's actually real shit though.
Nah, it's true.
It really is real shit. So
I'm going to put it as like how I went from trying to take my own life to unlimited as fuck.
That's fucking absolutely perfect. But appreciate everyone's time and attention. If you've made it to this little point where we're talking right now, I actually love you so much and that you deserve help. So I actually want to give you something for free. So message me and tell me that you've seen this part of the podcast, and I'm going to give you something for free. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe a hypnosis track, maybe access to a module on the app, but I'm going to give you something for free if you've made it to this point in the video, because you deserve it for being here. So I appreciate you so much, and until the next episode.
Easy.